Welcome, my fellow aquanauts, to another episode of Think Ocean, and welcome aboard the merchant vessel Gem State. In this episode, we're going to be talking about advanced firefighting techniques. But first, something spectacular happened the other day, a very rare scene. Out here in San Francisco Bay in the port of Oakland, right here next to the ship, a gray whale came up. And it hung out for about 3 hours, from 1600 to about 1900, and as the sun set, it went out to sea. And I got it by drone, and I filmed it from the ship's deck. Amazing footage of a gray whale that came into the port of San Francisco. I turned over the footage to the news. It was so spectacular, they put it on. This is a marine science channel mainly, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you footage of this California gray whale. I am doing merchant marine videos now because I'm aboard the ship. I'm working here aboard the Gem State. If you like these US merchant marine videos, please drop a comment and let me know if you have any ideas for some footage that you'd like to see out here. And when I get back to Hawaii in a couple months, we'll get back underwater and we'll do some more marine science videos. For now, let's check out the California gray whale right here in the port of Oakland. It's a gray whale.
Is it?
Yeah. Look at it. It's right there. Oh my God.
It's a baby.
Now that was truly amazing, wasn't it? A California gray whale right here in the port of San Francisco. We're in the port of Oakland. It was right next to the ship. Super, super cool. Now folks, if you like our videos here at Think Ocean, please give them a thumbs up, like these videos, share the videos with others that are interested in this content, and if you can, give it a subscription. Please hit that subscribe button. We'd really, really appreciate your support. We're at 650 subscribers and we're striving to reach our first 1,000, so help us out. All right, in this video, we're going to be talking about advanced firefighting techniques. Last video, I showed you how to put an SCBA on. We talked about the fire stations that are on deck and inside the house. And then we also talked about portable fire extinguishers. In this episode, we're going to be talking about fixed CO2 systems, large rooms that have tanks, 50 tanks full of CO2 that we can secure a space like an engine room or the diesel generator room, and we can flood it with CO2 without anyone having to be in it, thus putting out the fire. Remember how CO2 puts out a fire? I explained it in last episode. It smothers the fire of oxygen, removing the oxygen and putting out the fire. We're also going to be showing you larger portable CO2 extinguishers that are on reels, and they have large tanks, and we can take the reel around like a firefighting hose, only CO2 comes out of it. And I'm also going to show you how we can get foam on a Class Bravo fire. Anybody remembers what a Class Bravo is from last episode? Please drop a comment and let the others know. So without any further ado, let's talk about advanced firefighting techniques on this episode of Think Ocean. This is the CO2 room. If we have a fire in the engine spaces or in the cargo holds that has gotten out of control, we would secure the space after making sure everyone is out and accounted for. And then we would activate the series of CO2 tanks, which floods the space with CO2, displacing all the oxygen and putting the fire out. Once activated, no one is allowed to enter for 24 hours. These are the individual valves that we would open depending on what space the fire is in and this is the smoke detection indicator panel, letting us know where the fire is located. If you are in the space and you hear the alarm sound, which believe me is louder than any machinery space can be, you have 1 minute to evacuate the space before the entire amount of CO2 is discharged into the space. And these are the fixed CO2 discharge nozzles that the CO2 comes out of the pipe, hits these nozzles, and spreads all throughout the space. Now, some spaces, like the paint lockers, have local fixed CO2 systems. Let's take a walk down through the engine room to the engine room paint locker. Now, as you can see as we walk down to the engine room paint locker through the engine room, you can see how tight it is down here and how much machinery there is. Imagine it being dark and full of smoke and you're having to fight a fire. It definitely would be very tough and extremely challenging. Believe it or not, we do have full, suit-out fire drills down here. And if a fire did happen down here in the engine room, we would give it our best shot to extinguish it. If we couldn't extinguish it, then a full discharge of the release of the CO2 system would be ordered, and only the captain can order the discharge of the CO2 system. If the captain is down for whatever reason, the next highest ranking officer would be in command, and that would more than likely be the chief engineer, and he would give the order then to release the CO2 system. But basically, only the captain can make that order. So we're down here to see the local fixed CO2 system at the engine room paint locker. It's located at the far end of what we call Shaft Alley. This here to the right is the shaft itself that the mighty steam engines turn, that is connected to the propeller. The paint locker dampers, which are what we call on ships vents, must be secured first before the release of the CO2. Outside is the CO2 actuating device, and inside is one large CO2 bottle attached to the nozzle that floods the entire space of this paint locker. Since we're here, let's follow the shaft all the way astern, where it's attached to the prop and the stuffing box. This is a CO2 hose reel system with a large, long nozzle, which is connected to over 100 feet of hose and 2 large CO2 tanks. If all this fails, along with foam and water, then we would actuate the fixed CO2 system. And forward on the bow, we have the deck paint locker. And it too is a locally fixed CO2 system, just like the aft paint locker that we saw in the engine room shaft alley. Okay, everybody, we're going to learn how to put out a Class Bravo fire. A Class Bravo fire is a liquid fire. And the best way to extinguish a Bravo, a liquid fire, is by placing a blanket of foam on top of the fire. And that foam restricts the fire from getting oxygen. Remember the fire triangle? Heat, oxygen, and fuel. We remove the oxygen and the fire goes out. It is mixed with water to make foam, and it will also cool the fire, removing the heat, but the primary way that it extinguishes a Class Bravo fire is by removing the oxygen with a blanket of foam on top of it. Now, how do we get the foam from this water fire extinguisher? It's a 1.5-inch fire station to turn into foam. And we do that with this eductor device. And I'm going to show you how to hook it up. You take the nozzle off of the fire station hose and you hook up this eductor. And we're going to hook it up like so. Tighten it up. And there you go. Then we're going to take that nozzle, the 1.5-inch nozzle, we're going to put it on the end of the eductor. An eductor is a device that you force water through. It comes out this large opening and it gets squeezed out in a jet through this small opening. And as it does that, it sucks up through this tube. This part of the tube, forgive me, we are sailors and we have funny, weird names for things, but this is called the donkey dick. The donkey dick goes into this bucket. This is a bucket of foam here that we use. It covers a large, very large area. You unscrew the cap and you stick the donkey dick into the bucket. You turn the water on here, open the valve to a fog position, and the water comes out through here, gets sucked through this small opening in the eductor, and it sucks the foam up, and then foam will come out of the nozzle, the part of the nozzle that has for fog, that we learned last time. Straight up and down is fog. It will also come out in a solid stream, but you don't want to do that because you don't want to disturb the liquid of the fire and start splashing it around. You want it in a fog pattern, and it's best to bounce it off a bulkhead, which we call what a wall is. A wall is a bulkhead. Remember this, on a ship, it's not a floor, it's a deck. It's not a ceiling, it's an overhead, and the walls are called bulkheads. So you bounce it off of the bulkhead and let it just gently cover the liquid fire. If you did it in a solid stream, it would splash the liquid around and you would splash the fire around. So you do it like that, and that's it. This is your eductor. Remember that? I'm not going to tell you what it is again. And then that goes in the bucket, and then you fight the fire like that. And you don't want to get close either. You want to stay a good distance away from the liquid fire and just let the fog with the foam in it bounce off a bulkhead or even bounce off the deck and gently splash into the liquid fire. All right, and there you go.